Do you know what the word meta means? The English word meta?
Meta is not tangible. I'm guessing it's a Latin word, right?
It's a prefix which comes from a Latin.
Metadata.
What is metadata?
Actually, that's you.
Metadata is on the internet.
It's beyond, right?
Metadata is like.
It's data about data.
Okay.
Meaning, if you have data, and I want to classify that data somehow. Like I have lists of numbers. So each list has like a data about it. So that's data about data. Metaphysics is like is like philosophy. That's what that metaphysics. It's like that's like the study of being. That like what is the being? So you're talking about the being. Meta language is words that deal with words. Like a noun. That's meta language because it's a word which is used to describe a part of speech. So I have this thing what's called a metavort. A vort is a Dvar Torah. It's so like a Dvar Torah. The metavort is it's a vort, a Dvar Torah about what a Dvar Torah is. Yeah. And let's see if it's clear what that is. It's like this. The Kohanim. Is anybody a Kohen here? No? Kohanim. Kohanim have a specific role in the Chumash, in the Torah. This is going to be like a little Parshat Shavuos year, although it's not this part. It's not this week. It's Parshat Emor. Essentially, 3 parshiot that are like really Kohanic parshiot in the Torah. The first 2 are Tzav and Titzaveh. The name of the parsha is God says to Moshe, command. Like Tzav is a tzivui, a command. Yeah, a mitzvah is a commandment. So it's that language of tzav. So command, God says to Moses, command your brother Aaron to do these karbonot, these sacrifices. Yeah. There's the third Kohanic parsha is what you call Emor. Emor is a language of speech. Yeah, to say. Le'emor, to say. So that word Emor, God is telling Moshe to tell Aaron about certain laws of being a Kohen. So it's interesting. 2 out of 3 parshiot, all 3 of them have to do with Moshe telling something over to Aaron and the Kohanim. 2 of the 3 use a language of tzav and titzaveh, commandment. Rashi says in titzaveh, in the second one, that means to be mezarez, to like kind of put a fire under him, to get him, you command him in such a way that makes him feel like he has to go up and go do that very quickly. But then the third parsha is Emor, say. What's the difference? So there's a Rashi by Matan Torah, when in the section of the Torah where it tells about how the Torah is given at Sinai. So Moshe is commanded by Hashem to tell and to say to all of Klal Yisrael. Tell lahagid and to say le'emor. And Rashi there says the fact that there's 2 languages of telling over refer to how Moshe Rabbeinu has to distinctly say things to the men and to the women. When you say things to the men, you can be hard with them. La'agid. You can tell it up straight, put it on the table. But when you're talking to the women, you have to le'emor. You have to say to them, and you have to use a lashon raka, a softer language. So we see that when we're telling people things, there's something soft there. So what is there that's soft about Parshat Emor? If you look at the distinction between the content of Tzav and Tetzaveh versus Emor, Tzav and Tetzaveh is about the Karbanot. Moshe Rabbeinu has to tell Aaron to go take this sheep there, take that cow there, move a little shechting here, a little sprinkling there, you're moving this, you quickly have to go do all these mitzvot, these different actions. Emor addresses a different dimension of the halachot, the laws of the Kohanim. And these get into things that, the issue that a Kohen is restricted in who he can marry. A Kohen is restricted in coming into contact with dead people. Yeah. So if a Kohen comes into contact with a certain dead person, or even in the room, in the same room as a dead person, he could be going against his Kohanic laws. The few times when he is able to come in contact with dead people is with the 7 close family members. If there's so this is when these kind of things come into effect. Is you have a friend, he's a Kohen, and he just lost his best friend in a car wreck. How do you tell that guy you can't go into the same room as him when the body's there? You can't. I want to carry the bed at the levaya, at the funeral. I want to carry the bed. He's my best friend. I just lost him. I want to carry that bed and carry him to the place where he's going to be buried. You're not allowed. How do you tell such a person that thing? And when a Kohen guy, you're hanging out with a friend, he says, I'm a Kohen and I'm going out with this girl. And you know this girl, she was married and she was divorced. A Kohen cannot marry a divorcee. So the guy's going out with a girl and she's divorced. And you say, I know you're starting to form a relationship with her. Maybe you should get out of there before it gets too late. Then it'll be worse. What do you mean? You say, well, I want to be with this girl. How do you convey these messages? It's not simple. It's not simple, and you have to. So the idea here is you have to say. You have to le'emor. You have to use a softer way of telling. It could be. This is my argument, that now that we've talked about this issue, that the Torah has things that the Torah requests of us certain things which are beyond us, yeah, which are beyond our normal boundaries of how we view ourselves and the world around us. We've just been given a key to understanding how to deal with that on a certain level, on a soft level. Yeah. Meaning, maybe not, but probably each one of us started thinking about, oh yeah, there's that thing that I really like eating cheeseburgers or something. These are like a very extreme example that I really like, but the Torah says I can't. But that rabbi guy that I go and hang out with him, he tells me I shouldn't eat cheeseburgers. So each one of us has these things which are like beyond us, beyond our normal boundaries. So in a certain sense, when we start talking about this topic like this, it creates a metavort. Because I just told you that the Torah is interested in you not doing these activities, but the Torah is interested in teaching you in a way which cares about you. Yeah? You have to tell the Kohanim gently, in a soft way. Yeah. So now that creates like this. That's why I say meta. I'm telling you a Devar Torah about how to give soft news to somebody when they don't aren't expecting it, or it rubs them the wrong way. And that creates a layer and a boundary that removes us from our own issues that we're grappling with all the time, and that's everybody. Every one of us has things that the Torah rubs us the wrong way. The biggest rabbi that you see in the posters, that if you go walk around town, you see the rabbis putting tzedakah in the box, and they have and everybody wants to like take their pictures like this. You see, this rabbi puts the tzedakah in this box, so you should also put the tzedakah in that box. Yeah. So that the biggest rabbi, there's things in the Torah that rubs them the wrong way. That's part. It's endless. The Torah is an endless vehicle for growth and bringing us closer to Hashem. And Hashem there's no end. There's no end to that. So there's always some level which rubs us the wrong way, and you always have to understand that needs to be said. You have to tell those things over to your friend or to yourself. So one of the reasons why I thought to say this is because of the camera, because it's like this meta thing. We're saying a shir in front of a camera. That's always. Every time you have like in theater, your meta theater is like where you have a play within a play, and that's supposed to get you thinking about the experience of being in a play, of like all the world's a stage, that kind of thing. So so we have this thing in our lives, and we have to like interact with that on the way that we have to. But I also wanted to do that because I wanted to stress this idea that each one of us has a certain level where the things in the Torah rub us the wrong way, and it's good to where we're holding, whether we're very excited about the Torah and we want to like jump over those hurdles that are put in front of us, or we're still wary, and there's things or there are people around us who are wary. Yeah, we always want to be sensitive to those things and understand how we're all part of that in that growth process.
Question.
Yeah.
So, how do you handle when telling somebody in a soft manner doesn't help? When the message isn't getting through?
Yeah.
Do you then try and go a little bit more forceful, or do you back away and say, "Oh well, they're not going to be able to get the message," or they're just ignoring the message? Do you try a little harder, or do you say, I've done my part, I've told them my message, and they can take it or leave it and do what they want with it?
So that's going to be a very personal case by case thing. I think, according to my humble opinion. Though I mean, my opinion according to what I've learned from my rabbis and things like that, and the experience that I've had with rubbing people the wrong way. I've definitely rubbed people the wrong way in my past, and it comes up when you're in this, especially in yeshiva, where you're all living together and rubbing elbows, and so I found that more often than not, it's better not to say something and just be there for the person. More often than not, when people have these issues, they're not issues which, the technical issue which is being brought up is not really the issue. It's not really the issue. Okay, they're rubbed the wrong way by something, but really deep inside they're hurting on some level. So more often than not always, but more often than not, we have to just be there for the people who have some amount of tension, and the more that we could show them that I have these problems too, and I'm struggling through that, and I'm here for you, and I care about you. The more those people will see that, yeah, I can go with this, and a lot of times that drops the barriers. There is a halachic thing. According to Jewish law, we do have to give what's called tochacha. When you see someone doing the wrong thing halachically, there's a halachic principle, which is that we're supposed to tell people that they're not doing the right thing. So that like kind of clashes what we're saying with what I just said. I'm not saying that you should necessarily go out and that just makes the balance more sensitive, and you have to think about it really hard each time. I mean, certainly if you're going to embarrass a person when you give tochacha, when you tell them they're doing the wrong thing, or if you're going to just scare them away and they're certainly not going to listen to you, you have to weigh these things. It's not so simple. Not so simple.
Rabbi, can I ask you a quick technical question?
Yeah.
About what you started talking about in the beginning? Is there a way for a kohen, if he inadvertently becomes impure, to purify himself?
Sure.
Like the example I was thinking of was.
Yeah.
This is a little more abstract, but if you're in a room and someone suddenly dies,
right.
Or the more practical would be like if you're in a hospital, chances are there's probably a dead person somewhere in that hospital.
Yeah. So there are different levels of ritual impurity, the way the halacha deals with these things. Are you guys familiar with the different sidarim of the Mishnayot? Of the Mishnah? Rabbi Chaleva talking about the level of the oral law, that there's different sections.
Yeah.
So there's sections like Ziraim, which talk about the agricultural laws. There's Moed, which is all the holidays. Nezikin, which is like tort law, more or less. What's that?
Is it damages?
Damages, property law, all that kind of stuff. Kedushin, which is Nashim, which is like all the different things that are involved with getting married. From Kedushin, the engagement, like the halachic engagement, the ketuvot, which is the marriage itself, and gittin, which is divorce. So all these, that whole gamut of the relationship with the women has a whole seder, a whole section of the Mishnah of the Oral Law, and then you have these things which are like not so practical halachically nowadays, which is kodshim and taharot. Kodshim, which is karbanot, things that deal with the Beit HaMikdash, which we don't have. Mirz Hashem will see these things in our lifetime, but right now we don't. You go to the Kotel and there's no Beit HaMikdash up there. So that gets into the laws of the Korbanot, and also in there you have a section which also deals with practical different laws of kashrut, shchita, and basar b'chalav, milk and meat, and all those things do come up over there. So there are sections which are practical, and then taharot, which is ritual purity, to kind of use a practical translation. Tuma and tahara. Tuma is ritual impurity, and tahara is ritual purity. So there's lots of nuances of different layers of tuma, different ways of curing or purifying each layer. The layer of tuma tmeit, of the impurity of coming in contact with the dead, is something that we don't have the capacity to matahir that, to purify that nowadays. Yeah, you need the red heifer, which we read that in the weekly sidra just a couple weeks ago.
Right.
Yeah. So the red heifer was that thing that's the way to purify that, and we don't have that. So we all of us are living with a certain amount of tumat meit. The difference for a Kohen is that a Kohen is not allowed to put himself in a situation. He has a unique prohibition that he's not allowed to put himself in a situation where he will contract that. The fact that he has, by circumstance, is not the problematic. Is that he's not allowed to contract it. There's halakha concepts like anus rachmana patre. This idea that in a onus, which is against your will, if a person passes away in the room that a Kohen is sitting, there's no way he could have taken steps to avoid that. Most of the time, there's no way. Going into hospital is a very interesting question. Can a Kohen go into a hospital? So that's a unique halachic question that the Kohen will have to deal with. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Depends what why he's going into the hospital.
Himself versus visiting someone.
Sure, there are different circumstances. Some of the Israeli hospitals over here that are aware of this have like signs that say, it's safe for Kohanim to come in. Right now, or it's not safe for Kohanim to come in, and they'll have to make that
threat level.
Yeah.
What about war? More,
So,
serving in the army.
So yeah, there's certainly like that you'll have to. So
if your partner gets shot, you gotta run away real quick before he dies.
yeah, so you can't do that. You can't do that. You have to. So you have to learn the nuances of the halacha, what the halacha asks of them, that there are overrides. Even though that there's a prohibition that a Kohen is not allowed to do that, but certainly there's issues of pikuach nefesh, the threat of losing life, that which overrides that in most cases, and other considerations, health considerations, things like that, which are safety considerations, which override halachic principles.
Now, I mean, we've had numerous discussions about the various mitzvot, and even if we don't think they're applicable, we still should be doing them and things like that. So putting that aside, the main purpose, I guess, for the Kohanim to be pure is for their service in the temple. They can't be doing that service. Mm-hmm. So if you're just a regular average Joe and you think, look, even if the Messiah comes, I'm not going to be the guy that's going to be up there doing this. Does it really matter if I become impure? So
in terms of there's no prohibition for a person to become a Tamei Meita. On the contrary, if you go to the funeral of someone, it's a mitzvah to bring them to their burial place and to contract that tuma. The thing we're worried about, which no one's really worried about that, because when everything falls into place, Mirz Hashem, then there will be a red heifer. There will be everybody will have to become purified, and everyone will have to go through. Not only a kohen, but korbanot, to bring a korban, to be the guy who brings a korban. You need to be pure. You need to be pure also. So we'll all get there. We'll all get there together. We don't. I don't think that's a consideration that I won't come into Tuma so that I'll be able to bring a korban tomorrow, because that's anyways we're in that state. Most of us have, unless we've lived some kind of miraculous life where we've been able to like dodge those situations. Most of us have contracted to that Tuma.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, if there's not necessarily a need right now for them to be ritually pure, then why the insistence on and still observing that?
It's a unique prohibition for Kohanim that says in the Torah that they shouldn't. It's a unique prohibition. It's not necessarily a practical thing. Okay. So that they could serve in the temple, they should be pure. It's a unique prohibition that they shouldn't come. It comes along with the whole status, the unique status of the Kohen, that they should practice keeping themselves on a certain mode of behavior and just status of who their essence, of who they are, that they have to do extra things to maintain that uniqueness.
So it just boils down to the argument we made before, that it's there, it's a rule, and regardless of our feelings about it, we should follow it because it's there for a reason.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, we can dig a little bit into the reasoning behind it, but it's not a practical reasoning. It's not like, so that I could serve in the temple, I need to stay pure. Most Kohanim, even if they are Tamei Meit, which probably most of them are, just by a circumstance, they're not. They still cannot, on a subsequent event, come in contact with the dead. It's each subsequent time. There's still that prohibition there. So we're in the middle of the Shemoneh Esrei.
Yes.
We're in the middle of Shemoneh Esrei. So, like we said last time, that we're in the middle of the bakashot, the requests. What's after shover oivim umachni'a zedin? Craig, you want to do the next one for us?
Okay.
You see where that is?
Yeah.
Does everybody have the page where?
Are we doing the righteous, or are we doing
We're
the
doing the
rebuilding
righteous.
Jerusalem?
The righteous.
The righteous. Okay.
The righteous. That's the way our scroll puts the title on this one.
Yes.
You're familiar with what a tzaddik is?
Yeah.
Tzaddik is
A righteous
righteous person. Tzaddikim are
people.
righteous people.
All right.
La tzaddikim is for the two or four here in the, for the tzaddikim. A mish'an umivtach. A mish'an is like something that you lean on, like a walking stick could be like a mish'an, something that you lean on. Umivtach is something that is a source of security. So we're saying Hashem, and then again, like we always do here, we turn to the side. Hashem is Mish'anu Mivtach L'Tzadikim. He is a support and a security for the tzaddikim. Interesting that these happen to be the things that are given to the tzaddikim. Support and security. Is that what you would have said? If you're praying to God and you want, God, I want good things for tzaddikim, what would you ask for?
No, I would say that, yeah.
Support and security? Okay. Sounds good?
Protect the tzaddikim.
Protect them. They need protection.
That's the same thing.
Yeah.
Support and security.
Yeah.
It's nice how it goes. There's like kind of a sequence from the 10th blessing until here.
Yeah.
It's like the 10th blessing talks about gathering people from exile.
Okay.
And then once we're gathered from exile, then the 11th talks about restoration of justice.
Mm-hmm.
And when we're talking about restoring justice, then we go to the next blessing, and that's when kind of the eradication of heretics or sins or bad people. And then we get to this one where it's asking for for the righteous people to step up.
Actually,
Very nice. Very nice. There's a nice progression here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't-
Like a historical progression.
Yeah, I just read that in the Siddur.
Ah.
I can't take credit for it. I just wanted to share that. 'Cause it was nice.
Good, shkoyach.
Yeah.
Good, yeah. What do you say, Andre?
But it's interesting that inside the text it says, let us tag along with the tzaddikim and go and protect the tzaddikim. And let us, we don't merit everything that the tzaddikim do merit, but let us tag along.
Okay.
That's what it's kind of saying. It says,
Good.
Give goodly reward to all who sincerely believe in your name, put our lot with them forever. And we will not feel ashamed. That means let us tag along.
Yeah.
We don't really merit,
Good.
but let us grab a bit,
Yeah, the chaperein, as they say. That's when we're within the body of that bracha, we're asking not only that we want good things for the tzaddikim because they're holding up the world, they're creating a sense of purpose in this world. So we certainly want them to, have the ability to do their work, which is a lot here. It's going a long way for everything. But the thing which Andre is pointing out is that we want more than that. We also want to have like a part in what they're doing. We want a part of the protection that they get. We want a part of the reward that they get. We want a part of the benefits that they get, and that's an important part of the picture because we see as that they are the people who are moving the picture of the world forward. We want a piece of that pie. We don't want to sit by idly and just watch them bring the days of the Mashiach, and then we're just kind of like sitting back, like that guy did a good job. Watching on TV. I'll click on the YouTube. Look at that tzaddik. No, I want a piece of that pie. I want a piece of that pie. Yeah? Even if that's like our inclination. Really, if you ask me on any given day, I want to sit back and watch the YouTube and while I'm drinking a soda or something like that. But when I get down to what I need to be working on, where I need to be putting myself, that's something I need to work on wanting that and asking that from Hashem, that I should have a piece of that pie. Yerushalayim. David. Baruch atah Hashem.
Boneh Yerushalayim.
Boneh Yerushalayim. What does Hashem do over there?
Building Jerusalem.
He builds Jerusalem.
We were talking yesterday after Kiddush on Shabbat.
Mm-hmm.
Someone brought up how Yerushalayim isn't mentioned in the Torah. It's mentioned in the Tanakh,
Mm-hmm.
but not over 600 times in the Tanakh. But in this specifically, it was not mentioned in the Torah.
That's right. The Torah refers to Hamakom, the place that Hashem will show us. There's a certain place that is, people are going to go there. It's going to be the center. It's going to be the Beit HaMikdash. That's the place where people will bring their carbonot or their first fruits and things like that. That's the place. But it's never, Yerushalayim is not named. That's good. That's right. So what do you say?
No, I mean, I just found it interesting, but it's still. That explains it because, obviously, the Shemoneh Esrei is so significant and central to prayer, and
Mm-hmm.
the fact that rebuilding of Jerusalem to be a central concept in the Shemoneh Esrei is obviously, even without that, we all know that that's central to
Mm-hmm.
rebuilding the Beit HaMikdash and all that. So. I find it interesting that it just wasn't mentioned. But that seems like maybe because it was later mentioned. So maybe the Torah is just kind of laying the foundation for what is going to happen in Yerushalayim or something. I don't know.
The Torah is more of the foundation, but it's not the walls. So we need to. So that's the pshat behind that. Could be. That's an interesting idea.
One of the reasons it was brought up is that that's a fundamental argument that people use for why we make such a big deal about being in Yerushalayim and it's not clearly delineated that this is the right place for us to be.
Mhm.
And I think it's because people are only familiar with the written Torah, they're not familiar with the oral Torah, so they don't know that information.
Well, even what David's mentioning is about the Chumash, the 5 books of Moses, and not the later Nach, which is also part of the written Torah. And a lot of the non-Jewish world is very familiar with it. They quote Isaiah up and down, left and right. I tell you what, so Psalms.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the understanding. I don't think so. Yeah. So here we're asking for Yerushalayim Dafka. So we have been informed that since that this is the place there's a historical point where this was the place where everything was happening. It still is, but it's not in a built way. We want that to be built. Bonei Yerushalayim. And to the extent that Hashem builds Yerushalayim, then the center is built, and that could feed the rest of the universe, really. And they say that Shlomo Melech, the Midrash, is a very interesting thing, that the sustenance for whatever you want in the world comes from Yerushalayim. And so Shlomo Melech knew how to read the land and see how those paths. So for like a guava tree in South America, he knew where those meridians came out from the central place of the Beit HaMikdash, and he knew how to find those meridians, and he planted guava trees there, or whatever, any funky fruit with the horns that you get from Thailand. I don't even know what they're called. So he knew how to I think dragon fruit. I think there's one like that. It's with that, it's purple and green. So he knew how to find the meridian that went from the Beit HaMikdash towards Thailand. And so he planted those trees along the way. So there's midrashim which tell us in a more physical way that really, not only a spiritual way, but a physical way, that Yerushalayim is the hub, is the center of everything. So we're asking for the Bonei Yerushalayim, we're asking for that center to be built so that really can bring extra shefa. Remember, bracha, shefa, plentiness is going to come out to the world. So that's where we're holding now. We have a few more brachot. I think you guys have the tools to do what we've been doing in this class by yourselves. Again, what we have at the end of the Shemoneh Esrei, just to go over. We started with the Shevach, the praise that we have for Hashem, with 3 brachot. The next bunch of brachot are bakashot, requests. Then you get to the last 3 brachot, which are avodah, hoda'ah, and shalom. Avodah is we have an extra blessing asking for that the Beit HaMikdash to be there so we can do the avodah there. We call tefillah avodah, but also the karbonot are avodah. Then you have the hoda'ah, which you say when you go to someone, you ask them something. You're such a nice guy. Can I have $100? And I really thank you because you're such a nice guy, and you always come through in a pinch, So we end with the hoda'ah and the shalom. The concept of shalom that we end off at the very end is this idea that shalom is a kli for all brachot. Most times in brachot, if you have a series of brachot, the shalom is this idea that there's a completion of the thing, and that is going to be a vessel that will be able to hold the brachot, that it won't just kind of, if you pour a glass of water right here and there's no glass, so the water will come out and you have lots of water, but then it just comes on the table and flows away and you don't have anything nice to drink. But you have a cup. That's what shalom is. There's a vessel that will be able to hold that, and the water will go in, it'll fill up the cup, and hopefully we'll use all these things that we're talking about in the appropriate ways. I apologize for kind of going off topic at the beginning, but I thought it was appropriate. Hope you guys got something.